Hello everybody, and welcome back to another Transformers figure review. And I know what you're thinking. You're like, how is this a figure review if you're starting with a binder? Well, because kind of like the last video, I'm just putting this under figure reviews because it's a Transformer thing. And I don't really have another place to put it, so. But this binder contains the entire set that I own, obviously, of Magic the Gathering Cross Transformers cards. So, these were a part of, I want to say it was called the Brothers War set. And I was not going to go, A, because I can't afford it, and B, because it would be a waste of time, but I was not going to go out to a card shop and just buy packs and hope I get them. Instead, I did the sensible thing. I went on TCG Trader, or TCG Player, I think it was. I went to TCG Player, and I just bought all the Transformer cards. Which in reality aren't that many. And I didn't get, any super fancy versions. I kind of bought the cheapest ones that I could because I'm like, I just want the set. So that's what I'm going to be looking at today. So let's crack this guy open. So I separated this into Autobot and Decepticon halves. Now all of these cards are in fact double-sided. So we'll take a look at the first row here, which has Optimus Prime Hero, which gives you the ability to bolster 1. And if Optimus Prime dies, you can return it to the battlefield converted. So, plot armor. Anyway, we then have Ultra Magnus Tactician. And whenever Magnus attacks, you may put an artifact creature from your hand onto the battlefield tapped and attacking. If you do, convert Ultra Magnus at the end of combat. And then we have Goldbug, humanity's ally. Prevent all combat damage that would be dealt to attacking humans you control. Whenever you cast your second spell each turn, convert Goldbug. But yes, that's row 1. In row 2 here we have Jetfire, Igneous Scientist. Remove 1 or more +1/+1 counters from among artifacts you control. Target player adds that much mana. This mana can't be spent to cast non-artifact spells, and then you convert Jetfire. We have Ratchet, Field Medic, has lifelink. When you gain life, you may convert Ratchet. When you do, return target artifact card with mana value less than or equal to the amount of life you gained this turn from your graveyard to the battlefield tapped. Then we have Prowl, the strategic the stoic strategist. When Prowl attacks, exile up to one other target tapped creature or vehicle. For as long as that card remains exiled, its owner may play it. Whenever a player plays a card exiled with Prowl, draw a card and convert Prowl. In our last row here, because again this is just Autobots, has RC, Sharpshooter. First strike, remove 1 or more +1/+1 counters from RC. It deals damage, that much damage to target creature. Convert RC. And then we have Blaster, Combat DJ. Other non-token artifact creatures and vehicles you control have modular 1, so they enter the battlefield with an additional +1/+1 counter on them. When they die, you may put that counter on a target artifact creature. Whenever you put 1 or more +1/+1 counters on Blaster, convert it. So speaking of converting it, so the backside of row 1 here, we have Goldbug, Scrappy Scout. Has living metal. Human spells you control can't be countered. Whenever Goldbug and at least one other human attack, draw a card and convert Goldbug. Then we have Ultra Magnus, our carrier. I love how the artwork also has Sideswipe and Sideswipe and Wheeljack on there. That's a nice touch. Anyway, they all have living metal, so I'm not going to go over that. Has haste and formidable. Whenever Ultra Magnus attacks, attacking creatures you control gain indestructible until end of turn. If those creatures have a total power 8 or greater, convert Ultra Magnus. And then we have Optimus Prime, Autobot leader here. Has trample. Whenever you attack, bolster 2. The chosen creature gains trample until end of turn. When that creature deals combat damage to a player this turn, convert Optimus Prime. Backside of row 2 here, we have Prowl, the pursuit vehicle. Whenever another creature or vehicle enters the battlefield under your control, put a +1/+1 counter on Prowl. If this is the second time this ability has resolved this turn, convert Prowl. We have Ratchet, the Rescue Racer, which also features Jazz down in the corner there. Lifelink, when one or more non-token artifacts you control are put into the graveyard from the battlefield, convert Ratchet. This ability triggers once each turn. And we have Jetfire, the Air Guardian. If you use 3 blue mana, you can convert Jetfire, then adapt 3. If it has no +1/+1 counters on it, put 3 of them on it. In the backside of row 2 here, or row 3, we have Blaster, the morale booster. So if you use, I guess that's any mana if I remember correctly, and you tap it, you can move X +1/+1 counters from Blaster onto another target artifact. This artifact gains haste until the end of turn. If Blaster has no +1/+1 counters on it, convert it, activate only as a sorcery. And then we have RC, the Acrobatic Coupe. Whenever you cast a spell that targets one or more creatures or vehicles you control, put that many +1/+1 counters on RC and then convert them. So now let's take a look at the Decepticons. Alright, first row of our Decepticons here, we have Megatron, the Tyrant. Your opponents can't cast spells during combat. At the beginning of your post-combat main phase, you may convert Megatron. If you do, add colorless mana for each 1 life your opponents have lost that turn, which also has Starscream on it. But we also have Starscream, Power Hungry. Flying. When you draw a card, if you're the Monarch, which is kind of funny, your target opponent loses 2 life. Whenever one or more creatures deal combat damage to you, convert Starscream. And then we have Soundwave, the Sonic Spy. Whenever one or more creature tokens you control deals combat damage to a player, exile target instant or sorcery card with mana value equal to the damage dealt from their graveyard. Copy it. You may cast the copy without paying its mana cost. If you do, convert Soundwave. Alright, row 2 of the Decepticons here. We have Blitzwing, the Cruel Tormentor. At the beginning of your end step, target opponent loses life equal to the life that the player lost this turn. If no life is lost this way, convert Blitzwing. Then we have Cyclonus, the Saboteur. Flying. Whenever Cyclonus deals combat damage to a player, it connives. Then if Cyclonus's power is 5 or greater, convert it. And then we have Flamewar, the Brash Veteran. Sacrifice another creature, put a +1/+1 counter on Flamewar and convert it. Activate only as a sorcery. Pay 1 mana, discard your hand, put all exiled cards you own with intel counters on them into your hand. And the only third row Decepticon here is Slicer, Hired Muscle. Has double strike and haste. At the beginning of each opponent's upkeep, you may have that player gain control of Slicer until the end of turn. If you do, untap Slicer, goad it, and it cannot be sacrificed that turn. If you don't, convert it. And then let's convert them. So of course now we have the backside of our Decepticons here. So we have Soundwave, Superior Captain. Whenever you cast a spell with an odd mana value, you convert Soundwave. If you do, create Ravage, a legendary 3/3 black robot artifact creature with Menace and Death Touch. Whenever you cast a spell with an even mana value, convert Soundwave. If you do, create Laserbeak, a legendary 2/2 blue robot artifact creature token with flying and hexproof. That's weird. I wonder if there's Ravage and Laserbeak token cards that I'm missing. I'd have to look for that. Anyways, then we now have Starscream. The Seeker Leader has Flying, Menace, and Haste. Whenever Starscream deals combat damage to a player, if there is no Monarch, that player becomes the Monarch. Whenever you become the Monarch, convert Starscream. And of course we have Megatron, Destructive Force. I love his artwork, by the way. Whenever Megatron attacks, you may sacrifice another artifact. When you do, Megatron deals damage equal to the sacrifice artifact mana's value to target creature. If excess damage would be dealt to that creature in this way, instead that damage is dealt to the creature's controller, and you convert Megatron. So we have Flame War, the Streetwise Operative here. A little cameo by Prowl over there. Very nice. Has Menace and Death Touch. Whenever Flame War deals combat damage to a player, exile that many cards from the top of your library face down. Put an intel counter on each of them, convert Flame War. We then have Cyclonus, the Cybertronian Fighter. Flying. When Cyclonus deals combat damage to a player, convert it. If you do, there is an additional beginning phase after this phase. And then we have Blitzwing, the Adaptive Assailant here, which I like his artwork because, you see him going from jet to robot to tank mode. Very comic booky. Anyway, at the beginning of combat on your turn, choose Flying or Indestructible at random. Blitzwing gains the ability until end of turn, whenever Blitzwing deals combat damage. And of course, the last one here is Slicer, the high-speed antagonist. Has First Strike and Haste. Whenever a Slicer deals combat damage to a player, convert it at the end of combat. But, yeah, this is kind of an oddity to me, given that there used to be a Transformers trading card game that, was made by Hasbro, that they stopped doing because Magic the Gathering was more popular, that they then make a collaboration set. But yeah, that's all the cards, unless, like I said, I'm missing 2, which I'm gonna have to see. But that's all I got, so thank you for watching, and goodbye.